This is the Coach Maz Show, presented by Griffins baseball alum State Farm agent Alex Hetrick in Murraysville. Like a good neighbor, State Farm agent Alex Hetrick is there. Here's Dan Flickinger and the head coach of the Seton Hill Griffins, Marc Marizzaldi.
The Coach Maz Show, as always, is brought to you by Seton Hill baseball alum State Farm agent Alex Hetrick. State Farm agent Alex Hetrick is there. And Maz, you are here. Congratulations on making it to another PSAC. I guess we can call these playoffs and not a tournament. We'll get into a lot of different things here on the show, but wow, what a regular season that you guys have had. First place in the PSAC West, all the adversity that you've battled through, and here you are, the first place team in the PSAC West hosting Gannon today. So a huge congratulations to all of you, your coaching staff, and all the guys for doing a great job this year.
Thank you, Dan. It certainly has been a special regular season. It's the best conference mark that we've ever put up in the PSAC, and considering the COVID shutdown that we had, and it's just been an unbelievable accomplishment by our guys to get to this point. But I don't think they're satisfied. I think we've taken a week to celebrate checking off the first box, and we're looking forward to hosting an opportunity here to move on and check another box as we advance in the PSAC tournament.
What was the key to getting to this point, finishing first and being able to host? What do you think the key was to this regular season, Maz?
Wow. It's hard to pinpoint exactly one thing. At the end of the day, chalking up that many wins in a challenging PSAC West just comes down to consistency, right? We won every single series except Cal, which we split. So I think there was consistency on the mound for us throughout this season, despite Jared Kohler having an injury and Marshall McGraw only coming back halfway through the season. I just thought we had great consistency on the mound for both starters and relievers week in and week out. No matter who we put out there, gave us a chance to win. Obviously, we had some firepower, especially at the top of the lineup, that was consistent as well. And for the majority of the season, we played fantastic defense, and finished near the top of the league defensively too. So 3 outstanding combinations of pitching, defense, and offense was just consistent throughout the year to get us to this point.
When COVID shut you guys down, you said we're either going to talk about this and have a great story to say, or it's going to ruin our season. Well, we know what happened. We have a great story to tell a little bit later down the road. But when you look back at that, Maz, I know you guys were playing a ton of games, and there's so much credit got to be given out to the guys for, not losing that energy. But do you almost think it kind of, I don't want to say maybe benefited you, but that pitching depth that you guys had was really stellar this year, and being able to go deep into your bullpen, to throw 2 freshmen on the weekend that have pitched very well, and Jared coming back, and Marshall pitching those 2 in midweek games, and Ben Vicini having a great year, Kevin Voppel, and then Peyton Reisman. I mean, the list can go on and on with the closers and everything, but the pitching depth has just been tremendous. How much has that helped you get through these crazy weeks playing, 8 conference games in a week at times?
Yeah, you nailed it, Dan. We were just really fortunate to be set up in a way that would not only allow us to kind of survive through that, I think it was 14 games in 10 days, but to actually thrive. We had to play a doubleheader on a Tuesday and a Wednesday, and then again the following Tuesday, and we're sending Marshall McGraw and Jared Kohler out there on a Tuesday. That's almost an unfair matchup. But what allowed us to do that was our trust in those freshmen that you had mentioned, filling the 3 and 4 spots on the weekend. So what we thought would be just a treacherous situation to try to navigate ended up being something that we were really set up to do very well and handle. And looking back, that was without a doubt, the difference in the season. If we come through that 14-game stretch at, say, 9 and 5, we're most certainly not the 1 seed. So really proud of Coach Cronin and the pride that he's taken since he got here, developing every single guy in our pitching staff, and I think that's showing right now.
Yeah, the depth has been amazing. Talking about John McCullough, Aiden Layton, those two freshmen. So, Maz, you go into a single elimination 9-inning game. You have to win it to move on to the semifinals. And if you are able to do so, we'll have more baseball on the Hill this year. What's your thought on that? What's the dynamic like having to play a single elimination game? Would you have liked to see the format laid out differently? Or is the PSAC kind of, this is the only way they could have done it? What are your thoughts on this?
Well, there's pressure. I mean, it's a one and done, and every team in the PSAC's got a great number one pitcher. Even the teams that aren't in the postseason, they all seem to have a number one. So that old adage of anybody can beat anybody on any day is so true when it's a one-game playoff and you can send your ace out on the Hill. We're in this situation with a single elimination sort of by default. Looking back 2 years ago in 2019, the PSAC tournament was never finished. And we got together as a coaches group in a league and said, we have to find a way to avoid this in the future. We cannot have a postseason tournament that determines an automatic bid to the NCAA regional and not finish it. So one idea that we came up with was to shorten the tournament and make at least the first round single elimination, which would knock off, I think it was about 3 or 4 games, giving us a better chance to get the whole tournament in. So that's what we decided upon. And that was obviously with the assumption that the whole tournament was going to be played at Slippery Rock. Right. So even though COVID changed the layout where now we can play games on campus, the format did not change, and the first round remained single elimination. So it's certainly a lot of pressure. It's a one and done. But at the same time, I feel like this is the first time in a while that there's a true reward for being the number one seed, a true reward for putting together a great regular season, and being able to host.
I'm sure the format will go back to a more traditional style in terms of location. As you just mentioned, it was supposed to be at Slippery Rock. We saw the softball team. They're going to play in the PSAC championship at home, which is really cool. I'm sure it's going to go back to that traditional way, but this is pretty neat, being able to host a playoff game and hopefully a bunch of them this year.
Yeah, Dan, I'm not so sure. I think you're going to see a lot of coaches in the league, both baseball and softball, in favor of this. Mm-hmm. If you look around just the PSAC West in baseball, you've got Slippery Rock with a brand new facility. Mercyhurst has put money into their facility, which is basically brand new. IUP just put money into their facility with a new turf infield. These schools are doing that, because they want to show off these facilities. They're becoming more competitive. So I think the opportunity to host postseason games is going to be something that coaches might be in favor. So I wouldn't be surprised if this format gains a lot of traction, and maybe it's something we continue to see in the future.
I think that'd be really cool. Now, I got to give credit to our boy Greeny, Seton Hill Sports Information Director Jason Green, put out a tweet on Tuesday night. He said it's been 5,474 days since there was postseason baseball on the Hill. May 18th, 2006, the NAIA East Coast Super Regional. Maz, do you remember what you ate for lunch that day? No. Do you remember, though, how fondly do you remember playing in the NAIA East Coast Super Regional at home? Back in 2006.
Absolutely vivid. That was one of the greatest days of my coaching career, without a doubt. I remember we had won that game, and on the PA system, they were playing a song that was called, the name of the song was Idaho, and we were passing a potato around in our post-game celebration, because that's where we were headed. The NAIA World Series was in Lewiston, Idaho, and we had punched our ticket there. So I will absolutely never forget that. As much as I want to say, wow, 5,000 in some days is a long time ago, I remember it like it was yesterday.
What's it mean to you to host a playoff game now, 5,474 days later?
Well, it's nostalgic for me personally, just because I remember back to the last time we did it. We didn't have dugouts. We didn't have a press box. We didn't have bleachers. I mean, people were sitting on milk crates up on the hill there. So it's really special to me to think about the last time we did it and how far the university and our baseball program and our facility has come. It's kind of a full circle thing to be able to host postseason, but at such a special place, with such a great team this year and having such a special season. So it's something I'm encouraging our players to just make sure they enjoy it. It's something that only happens once in a great while, and I know this is something that's really special to our alumni. I've gotten so many messages over the last couple of weeks congratulating us on the regular season, and I know as we host our playoff game today, all of our alumni are going to be reminiscing about 2006.
Yeah, I'm sure some of them will try to make it there if they can get off work. If not, hopefully they'll be tuned in. Anytime the postseason rolls around, our viewership numbers skyrocket with those guys and supporters of the program. I got to ask you another time, Maz, about Tommy Pellis. My gosh, NCBWA Hitter of the Week. He had 6 home runs in 6 games last week. I remember back in 2015 when Nick Sell won his National Player of the Year award. Is this kind of a similar season right now? Because every time Pellis comes to the plate, I feel like he has a chance to knock one out of the park.
Yeah, I'm just glad he's on our team, man. Wow, because I wouldn't want to pitch to him. It would be interesting, Dan, to see if we actually played a full schedule this year. Right. I think back in 15, I can't remember the exact number of games, but we probably played somewhere in the neighborhood of about 55 games that year. We've only played 35 right now, so you start doing some math and add 20 more games to Tommy Pellis's resume. Who knows what that looks like?
Yeah,
right?
We'll have to extrapolate those numbers there. So
yeah. So what he's done in a 35-game schedule is nothing short of spectacular.
I was looking back. Nick Sell had 92 RBIs that year. That is pretty incredible.
Yeah, to go with 28 home runs.
Yeah.
It was like watching a video game. Yeah.
It certainly was. Maz, you send out Jared Kolar to the mound today. Obviously, he's pitched in big games, his high school career and his Seton Hill career. Did not pitch well against Slippery Rock in his last outing. Are you expecting a bounce back from Jerry today?
It's hard not to, for the reasons you mentioned, Dan. He's been a big game guy. That Slippery Rock game is probably the one blemish on his record, oh my gosh, over the last 2 years. The one thing Jared has not had has been consistency, right? He threw a couple of great outings early in the season, and then had that 5-week layoff. So I do think it's important for him to have a good outing today to establish his 2 or 3 pitches for a strike early in the game. I think, we've all seen Jared, how good he is once he gets in that rhythm of, fastball slider. But he's our guy. It's nice to have him on full rest here coming into a Wednesday game, and I'm excited to see how he throws.
What is your game plan here in terms of Gannon? What are some of the things you see from the Golden Knights? Took 3 of 4 from Gannon earlier this year, but the one guy you did lose to was Devin Judy. We expect him to probably start today for the Golden Knights. So what do you guys expect from Gannon? What do you have to do well to get a win today and move into the semifinals?
Well, the thing that makes Judy so good and so tough to beat is just 3 pitches for a strike. He's proven against just about every team in the PSAC that he can change speeds and he can locate. And he's done that time and time again. He's done it to us already this year. So coming into this game, we do have a very good idea what to expect from him, but that still doesn't make him easy to hit. They're a team that I would consider them a tough, scrappy, aggressive team. They're a team that likes to hit early. Typically they put a ton of balls in play. They'll use the entire field. They're not a team, I guess, that has overwhelming tendencies offensively. So I think it's a team that you can't give away free bases, a team that puts that many balls in play and is aggressive. There's going to be action. We got to field it well. And I think, for us, it all starts with Jared Kolar being in attack mode on the mound for us.
Well, Maz, go have fun. This should be a lot of fun. Hopefully you win this one and more fun on the Hill later on this week. And in future weeks as well. And, buddy, a huge congratulations on your 600th win. Whenever I print out my game notes, I always have your record on there to mention during the broadcast, and I'm thinking, man, it's getting closer. It feels like it was, I'm sure for you, it feels like you just won 100 not long ago, but man, that's a ton of wins. Congratulations. I'm so happy for you and all the kids that have helped you get those 600 wins and all the coaches. Just an amazing accomplishment.
Thanks, Dan. I appreciate that. It's been very awesome for us to share many of those wins together, you and I.
Yes.
And for you to bring many of those wins to all of our listeners. Probably 200 or 300 of those are wins that you've been able to articulate to all the people on TV and over the radio. So I'm very thankful for that. The 600 came quick, right? When you go 31-4, those wins start to pile up
Sure.
quickly in a good way. So in a shortened season, to rattle off, 31 of them already has been awesome. But again, I said this on social media. I am just the guy who's been lucky enough to be around for all of them. They're not my wins. They're the wins that all the players have earned. And that's also 600 wins for Seton Hill baseball, and that's what's really important.
No doubt. Maz, go get another one, a big one today, and we'll talk after.
Thanks, Dan. Appreciate it, man.
That is the Coach Maz Show, brought to you by State Farm agent Alex Hetrick in Murraysville. We will have first pitch, Griffins and Golden Knights PSAC quarterfinal single elimination here on the Westmoreland Sports Network.